I never knew autumn could be so cruel. I had always thought of it as a gentle season, a quiet passage toward winter. But that year, it arrived like an unsigned letter carrying a fate I was not prepared to read. When the car stopped in front of our house and my husband helped his mother out, leaning heavily on his arm, something tightened in my chest before I could understand why. She was weaker than I remembered, smaller somehow, as if the illness had silently consumed years of her life. Her back was bent, her steps hesitant, and her eyes carried a look I could not mistake, the look of someone who knows the journey is almost over. At the hospital, everything happened too fast to be merciful. The doctors did not speak much. Some truths do not need long explanations. Advanced cancer. Very little time left. Treatment would only ease the pain. I listened as if the words were meant for someone else, while my husband stood beside me, silent, his jaw tight, as though silence were his only way out. In that moment, I knew I would stay, and I knew he would leave, even before he said a word. That night, the house felt heavy with breathing. My mother-in-law groaned softly in pain, while I moved between her room and the kitchen, preparing medications, adjusting pillows, forcing myself to appear stronger than I was. My husband sat in the living room, doing nothing, saying nothing, waiting for something I could not name. When he finally spoke about a job abroad, a long trip, maybe a year, he said it as if it were unrelated to what was happening, as if the decision had already been made long before illness entered our home. He left a few days later. He kissed his mother's forehead, told me to take care of her, said the opportunity could not be missed and that I was strong enough. When the door closed behind him, the house suddenly felt too large and the silence too loud. From that moment on, a life I had never chosen began to live me. Our days became copies of one another. I woke before dawn because her moaning always came before the alarm. I changed her position carefully, fed her spoon by spoon, watched her trembling hands rest on the blanket. She apologized to me with her eyes, sometimes with broken words, and I smiled and told her it was nothing, while something inside me slowly wore away. At night, I sat beside her counting her breaths, terrified one of them would stop while I was not looking. The money came irregularly, never enough. Medicine first, always medicine, then whatever remained for food and bills. As months passed, my savings disappeared, but the responsibility remained. Winter arrived harsh and unforgiving. The cold seeped into our bones, and I wrapped her in blankets, afraid the illness would take her on a freezing night while I slept. Over time, I began to notice her looks. She would stare at me for long moments, as if weighing something inside herself. Sometimes she opened her mouth to speak, then stopped. I felt she carried something she wanted to say, but I did not press her. Perhaps I was afraid of hearing what I could not bear. Then came that night. The silence was different. No moaning, no movement, only the wind hitting the windows as if trying to get inside. She called my name in a voice barely there. I sat beside her, and she gripped my hand with a strength I did not expect from a dying body. She looked at my face for a long time, as if memorizing it, then whispered a single sentence. After I die, go to the village, the summer kitchen, under the potato box. I asked her why, what was there, but her eyes closed, her hand loosened, as if she had given away the last thing she owned. A few days later, she died. Her soul left quietly, leaving behind a heavy emptiness. My husband did not come. He sent a short, cold message saying he could not and asking me to take care of everything. After the funeral, I could not sleep. The sentence kept circling in my mind, along with a strange feeling that what she had hidden was anything but ordinary. Weeks later, I went to the village. The road was long, filled with memories I had not asked for. I entered the old house, opened the summer kitchen covered in dust, and lifted the potato box. I dug with my hands until I hit wood, a small, old box, as if it had been waiting for me. Inside were papers, a land deed in my name, a notebook in her handwriting, and a letter addressed to me. I read it slowly, each word anchoring something inside me. She wrote that she had seen everything, that she did not want me to leave this story broken, that what she left was not a gift but a right. I returned from the village changed. When my husband came back a year later, he found a woman he no longer recognized. I told him everything, placed the papers in front of him, and said calmly, without shaking, that I was no longer the woman he had left behind. Then I walked away. Sometimes, when I remember her, I feel gratitude more than sadness. A woman weakened by illness, yet strong enough to leave me a beginning after all the endings. Whenever I see a cellar or a simple box of potatoes, I remember that some truths are not buried deep. They are left for those who deserve them.